did a video yesterday, you can look it up on my YouTube page, and basically just explain how to separate the compost or the worm castings from the worms. So this is what I have. I have my worms in here, and what I've been doing is pulling the top away right here. So you just move the top, and the worms, as they're exposed to light, they continue to go down, down, down. Anyways, yesterday I did this several times to get to the bottom layer, and I fed them some finished compost in the center to draw them to the center. So I want to show you what you have when you do that. Okay, just gonna dig in here, and bam. I don't know if you can see this, but this is a lot of worms. Now, a lot of these are like babies, kind of in between age. They're not really your breeder sizes, but that's okay. Worms don't take long to mature. They take about 3 months, and they're ready to go. So anyways, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be putting them in their new bin. This is going to be their new bin. Pretty excited about it. And this is what I'm going to feed them. Now, I have been working on this for several months, so I'm pretty excited to, there we go, finally feed it to my worms. So, this is my finished compost. Nice and earthy smelling. What I've also done is, in the last 3 weeks, I went ahead and added some newspaper scraps, fresh newspaper scraps. So you can see it in here, a lot of little newspapers. And I wanted to do that so that it creates a nice bedding that is partially composted for the worms. So this stuff is pretty amazing as it is. And if you think about it, this came from, originally I started with sawdust, newspaper clippings, mail clippings, vegetables, leaves, and a lot of coffee grounds. So what you see here is probably a third of what's actually gone into this in volume. So the more you compost it down, it shrinks. I've put anywhere from 300 to 500 pounds of coffee grounds in here, and I think I started off with 5 of those big black garbage bags full of sawdust. So one thing, I built this in a hurry, and I'm surprised it's still intact. But one thing that's difficult about this unit is that from here down, I have not been able to really turn it because it's just so far down, and I didn't build it up. I kind of just filled it up and started at the top. So anyways, I can expect to get about half of this full of finished compost. Now, throughout the time that I've, been processing this, I've been adding so many different elements to it. I've added minerals, rock minerals. I've added the rock dust. The liquefied C90 is actually from the ocean, and it contains all 92 minerals. And so it has a lot, when you're doing a compost pile, whatever you're putting into your compost is what you're going to be getting out. So let's say I'm feeding, rotten fruits and vegetables in here, but maybe they're not organic, and maybe they don't have all the minerals and the vitamins and nutrients to begin with. So if they don't have it, then my compost pile still will not have it. So you got to consider that. So by adding the minerals, I'm ensuring that all the minerals that I need, that the microbes need, and that our plants need, are all in here. It's all about going organic. I had to click the low battery button. And organic is important, not just for us, but for the microbes. The microbes really make the world go round, and we may not really appreciate that. Here's a fun fact. On your body right now, there are 10 trillion microbes keeping you alive in and on your body. They're responsible for processing your food in your belly, in your gut. They are responsible for keeping you healthy. They are responsible for, processing dead skin cells. They're responsible for purifying air. They're responsible for breaking down decomposing matter. They're literally what makes the world go round. And we don't think about it, but we've really got to start putting more value on things on levels that we cannot see. Just because a fruit or vegetable looks delicious and green and, or colorful, doesn't mean that it has everything that it needs. And so when we can understand that, put value on it, then we can take responsibility for making things healthier and better. So anyways, my goal in creating this compost is that I created a good quality compost. Some other things that I have in here are hair. So when I got my hair cut, put my hair in here. Lint from the dryer has gone in here. Debris from working with my dad. Different kinds of trees have gone in here. Dates from date palms have gone in here. Cocoa coir has gone in here. Coconuts have gone in here. Lots of banana peels. So there's a ton of stuff in here. So I'm really excited about feeding this to my worms because this is already decomposed. Now, worms don't actually feed on your fruits and vegetables. So a lot of people will feed their fruits and vegetables to their worm farm, and that's fine. But you have to think about when they do that, the fruits and vegetables, the food scraps, have to go through a heating process. So the microbes start to get in there and start to break it down. And the worms really don't want to be around for that because it gets hot in there. And worms like cool environments. So they'll wait until it cools down, then they'll kind of move in and eat the microbes as they're producing. Microbes, they're just like, hey, I feel like reproducing. And then they, boom, turn into 2. And then they, boom, turn into 4. So they're very fast at reproducing. Now, when I'm feeding them this that's already decomposed, they're just going to go crazy because it's just food. It's pure food for them. Also, if you are starting a new worm farm and you've watched other videos, you'll hear a lot about bedding. And the bedding material is really important. That's the newspapers. So if you think about bedding just like you want to be comfortable in your bed. It's where you rest. It's where, you relax. And this is their home that you're making. So you want to make sure that there's bedding for them. They need cushion. They need airflow. So if it's just all compacted, they're not going to have the mobility to get around and go to other places, and it's not going to be very comfortable for them. So anyways, by adding this bedding in here 2-3 weeks ago, it's already partially decomposed. It holds moisture and it also allows airflow. So it's pretty awesome. Anyways, let's go ahead and get to it. Just take my little shovel. Go ahead and fill this bin up. I could take some of the bigger stuff out. All right. And so this isn't too deep. I have it about maybe 2.5 inches. And for me right now, that's fine. I'm going to make sure that there's no, this is an avocado peel. Let's throw that out. Just want to make sure that everything in here is pretty finished. Okay. Now in here, it's still a little bit warm. It's not like hot. Now, when it is hot, it'll get to 160 degrees. Very, very hot. You can't even put your hand in there. But as there's still, some unfinished things such as the newspapers, the cardboard, it'll still heat up in there. So I'm just going to add a little bit of water. There you go. And that'll kind of cool it down. So we will keep track on how long it takes for these guys to break this down. I'm about to run out of time on my phone, so if it cuts out, I apologize in advance. That happens. But try and get most of it for you. So I got it cooled down already. Kind of